Seal all porous surfaces with putty and then dry. Check by hand whether it is dry and then move on. Sand and smooth the surface with sandpaper and clean it with a brush. The strength of the adhesion strongly depends on how flat and smooth the surface is. Use sandpaper for narrow areas and a sander for wider areas to make the surface smooth. The smoother the surface is, the easier the work. Mix the primer with a diluent at a 1:1 ratio and stir. Water-based primer uses water as a diluent, and oil-based primer uses thinner as a diluent. For the best adhesion, use the Hanwha OK primer. Slightly increase the primer ratio during cold weather. Apply the primer evenly on the surface, in line with the grain of the film. For narrow parts and corners, use a small brush. For wider parts, use a big brush or a roller. During the primer application, apply primer 2 or 3 times additionally, since the cut side of the wood requires more primer for strong adhesion. Even drying time depends on the workspace situation. It normally needs more than 2 hours for water-based primer and more than 1 hour for oil-based primer. Please make sure to check that it is completely dry. After checking that surface gets dry, make the surface smooth by sandpaper and get rid of foreign materials by brush. Lastly, check the surface condition by hand.